So one of the things I love about CTC is they're just tireless in their effort to make Memphis its greatest. It's just its greatest self.
That's what I love about CTC so far is getting to work with Ronese, and I think the structure of CTC and like how Creative Underground is its own thing, and then the neighborhood connectors, and like there's so many creative ways that CTC has branched out, and like strategically, I think it's genius.
CTC has this cool thing called Communities of Shalom. They facilitate this beautiful work that's all about loving yourself and your neighbor and working in the bond of peace.
We was hanging out, me, him, a little bit of Duke, and we was talking about this thing where a bunch of creative people will like be all in the same room creating stuff for the purposes of social change in the city.
So I was like, Friday nights, like what? I need my Friday nights. Like, I don't know, like 5 to 7, that's an end time. But I found myself being there at like, 4:45. setting up the circle and setting up the chairs.
And that first time I was there, we were in a circle, we did the circle and everyone was sharing their talents. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't know. I'm not prepared. I gotta get my steps together. And then after I did my step, everybody was like, what? I was like, oh, y'all are so
incredible.
And like as the night went on, it's just like the energy stayed consistent at a high level, and there was so much support and love for each other. And you could just feel like it was just something that was like waiting to get out. Like it was a really big like release.
The beats, voices, and stories made me feel safe and at home.
I didn't know how much I needed to feel other people's energy. I didn't know how much I needed to hear other people create on the spot and just share that, share the vulnerability of new art being created in the moment. Like this is history. This is historical.
I had done a couple flash mobs up to that point, and we did one in South Memphis. I think we did one in Binghamton, and now here we are downtown.
We were there to honor a king and the work he did and that of which he left behind.
People who were once, catering to children and taking selfies and having full conversations in clumps and lines waiting to get into the Lorraine Motel were now paying attention to us. Where the people out there representing Memphis and saying, M-E-P-H-I-S, let it sink into your chest.
Felt important, and it felt like I knew I needed to do it because my dad, he was part of the March on Washington where MLK's birthday became a holiday, and so this was my version of passing the story on.
We were out there to continue the spectrum of stories, the ones we tell, to move on. The cars coughing and roaring and hopping over speed bumps, layered with all of the change, all of the hope, and all of the echoing laughter.
Blues, greens, oranges, purples dance on the walls with sunshine on their feet, creating murals of us, of our community. Monuments of our lives were shared through story, through dance, and mere presence.
And then that one time, when the drums called my name, awakening the warrior princess in my soul. I didn't know what to expect, but I chose to come see what was going to happen. What had happened was freedom, wide open space, to share myself freely, to dance for joy freely, to be freely me.
What does Memphis sound like? Memphis sounds like the nation's best rappers, hip-hop's culture definers, the greatest church choirs and pastors and preachers who all do everything that they do after they get off from work.
I wasn't able to talk until I was about 9 years old. So the only way I could communicate was through what I would see. And I couldn't do sign language. So the only way I could communicate though was singing. And singing was what helped me to learn how to talk. It was just converting from singing to talking that was the issue. But like I said, everything I would see, I would communicate musically. Instead of sign language, I would do a hum. And my parents would know if I hum a certain note, it means this. If I hum a note like this, it means that. So it took a lot for them to get used to that.
Yes, dogs bark. Yes, engines rev. Yes, FedEx flying overhead. Yes, train come. Yes, train go. Yes, signal. Yes, clang on tracks. And the boy 2 doors down plays drums on his porch. Don't know why his mama puts him out. Because if I can hear him, she can. And the church doors swing open to hear choirs calling heaven to come on down here because we got something good waiting for you. And the bass bumps at the stoplight in the most glorious hoopty of all. And my heart beats and the river don't make a sound.
Memphis is like brown sugar, that dope verse over a tight beat, that percussive section in drumline, that brak cat cat. Memphis is the horn section that comes in just before "Do You Remember?" The bass just before Beyonce says bass in Deja Vu that makes you shout, "That's my song." It's the oh, oh, oh at a barbecue that makes everyone run to the grass and electric slide.
Memphis sounds like rusted, screeching brakes overlaid by recorded laughter, begging to be heard. This is layered and equalized to the hungry growls of the heater, all the little red notifications and the atonal stuttering of the self-checkout at the Kroger on Poplar, where you try to tune out the barreling train begging to coat your world with 7 seconds of sprawling irritation, but then you hear the fading of the bass crackling out of the Cadillac as it rolls through the parking lot. It makes you want to lean in and listen. You lean into the sound of a car horn's twilight, and even the silence from the lack of barking dogs respects the melody of the white noise. It is the music of the history to come.
Memphis sounds like you're walking in the light. Memphis sounds like everybody needs a little R&R. Memphis sounds like easy to get to, easy to find. Just a big orange building with easy way sign. It's always fresh and easy way. Memphis sounds like turn your lights on, turn them off. Turn your lights on, turn them off. Everybody turn your lights on, turn them off. Memphis sounds like accident has got you feeling hurt. Injury so bad you can't make it to church. Got number trying to get you down. Got a number you can dial. Just call 1-800-411-PAIN. Memphis sounds like music.
Memphis sounds like the feet hitting the pavement. It sounds like construction sites and fight or flight and displacement and replacement, hope and disappointment. Memphis sounds like change.
What about Schnooks? We make it easy. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how we learn how to sing. I don't care if we telling y'all how we learned how to sing through the jingles from Memphis, for real.